So today I'm thinking about creativity at home, because that's where so many of us are. I've seen some amazing examples this week. Obviously there's been some beautiful artwork. I went for one of my allowed walks and saw in so many windows sort of beautiful pictures that children had obviously done at home, which was really heartwarming. There's also been a lot of cooking, people actually cooking who wouldn't normally do it at home, bread making and things like that. Also some fantastic circuits, so children who need to be active, especially those who need that work on their different motor skills and body coordination. There's a circuit where they've got 2 feet going one way, then 2 feet going the other way, and then maybe that way, and they have to hop from one to the other, and then maybe some more hopping and throwing a bean bag and catching and all sorts of things. So there's lots of creativity going on. So if I'm talking about creativity, where would I be without my puppets? As anyone who's seen my videos before would know, puppets are important to me, and especially at this time, because obviously having a puppet is like having, for a child, it's like having a companion, a pet. They can talk to the puppet. It's someone else when they might be feeling a bit isolated. It's comfort, but they can be used for so much more. Now, I also appreciate that not everybody is going to have, like me, a house full of puppets. I happen to be a bit weird like that. That's fine. We can make our own. So one of the things I'm thinking about particularly is what I did with some Year 9s a few years back, a good few years back actually, feeling old now. They had to do some, they were learning Macbeth for their SATs, and they were going to go and take their learning of Macbeth down to the local primary school and try and get the plot across to them. So we got them to make 2 types of puppets. The first was just using simply a wooden spoon. So quite simple, you just take your wooden spoon and you just draw a couple of eyes. Okay, like that. And you can get some colouring in. I'm going to do it much sort of quicker and less detailed than I might do if I were doing it just at home with the kids or at school with the kids. So this was a homework I set. It was one of the ones they preferred. So they, you can just simply do some eyes. Okay, a little nose. Haven't got the right colours because I'm limited to what I've got, so we're going to have some purple lips today. Okay, a little puppet there. Now you could quite simply get, I've got too much of it here, you could get some wool and you could sort of make some sort of wig. Or if you haven't got the wool or anything at the house, then you can simply draw on some hair, so you've got a bit of hair there. Okay, so you've got a very simple puppet, very, very quickly. Okay, and then all you need to make it that little bit more realistic is to get any sort of material and stick it round. So then you've got that sort of body feel to it. And you could actually stick it, I've just literally wrapped it round for now. And you've got a really simple spoon puppet, really, really easy to do. And then, of course, children with a couple of these can then have little conversations. They can talk to the puppet themselves, but they can also have interaction between the two. The other way of doing it really simply is to make a simple sock puppet. So those of you who are my age and older may well remember things like Larry the Lamb, which was just a sock puppet at the end of the day. And I mean, that I've literally just drawn on it. So you can do these much more elaborately, of course. You can get buttons and you can get wool and you can get all sorts of things. So this is a really old manky sock, clean, I hasten to add. It has been washed. To make it, actually, I'm going to have to go on the other hand because I'm so right-handed. I can't possibly do it on the other one. And again, just very simply, either get some buttons, or if you haven't got buttons, you can quickly draw on a couple of eyes. Okay, as simple as that, just draw a couple of eyes. Okay, and then if you've got some colour, it's always nice to have a bit more colour in it. So I'm going to do a couple of eyes. If they go slightly to the side, like that, okay, you'll see in a minute why that matters. Okay, so I've got a couple of eyes there, give it a couple of eyelashes, because that does seem to add to the realism somehow, because of course it's so realistic. We all look like this. We all have sock faces of some sort. Some indication of a nose, and then I did it that way around because I'm going to put it onto my other hand where I feel more comfortable. And then the puppet sort of looking at me, and of course being a sock, you can be emotive, you can move it around, you know, and you can give it some expression, and you can make it feel like it's actually doing something, and it is just a sock, but it adds to it. So the children in year 9, what they did is they made their different characters. You had a Lady Macbeth, Macbeth Banquo, everyone else, Duncan, I mean the lot, and they literally, using spoons and socks, acted out Macbeth. Very simplified. They had to rework the script and put it into sort of easy speak for the kids, and they just made a very simple Macbeth show for the children, and it worked really well. And because they were doing it for someone else, their level of understanding was greater. So those children at home who are thinking about their GCSEs maybe, and having to learn texts, because at some point exams will come back and they will have to do an exam on them, if they've maybe tried out, you know, with you, you know, so parents and children together, making some puppets and acting out different scenes from plays and from books that they've done. It's a bit like the hot seating that they would do in school. In school they get plenty of chance to, you know, to hot seat characters and ask them questions. That's harder to do when it's just the 2 of you, or 3 of you, however many, just chatting around the table. But if you get a puppet involved and the puppet becomes one of the characters, you can hot seat the puppet and ask the puppet various questions, and the child or adult operating, or teenager, whoever, operating the puppet can then get into the character and try to answer the questions. So it's a creative and more fun way of maybe getting involved with the text. So take this time, use your creativity. We've got people making mud kitchens, just finding the oldest of their stuff in the kitchen, the stuff they think they can sort of maybe not have to use and so on, and just getting outside. Now, not everyone's got an outside. The circuit idea can be done in a very small space. My favourite place for doing art when my children were little was the kitchen floor, because we could sit on the kitchen floor, we could do whatever we wanted to do, and then I could easily wipe it clean afterwards. So you can find space wherever you are, hopefully. If you're lucky enough to have access to the internet and see things like this, then you will have the space to be creative and do things. The ones I'm feeling sorry for at the moment are the people, and not just sorry for, seriously worried about, are those who don't have the luxury, who can't just turn the internet on and you know, sort of link up to the internet and see all those wonderful ideas out there, who are stuck at home behind closed doors and we don't know what's going on. They're the ones I'm worried about. But for those of us who are fortunate enough to be able to share our creativity, let's go for it. Let's go for it 100%. Let's write poems, let's sing songs, let's dance. Let's help this feel less like an isolation, self-isolation, and more like an opportunity. And I know that's hard for a lot of people to hear at the moment, but I'm somebody who tries to stay positive. You know, I'm missing my grandchild. I'd love to be holding him. I should have been with him this weekend, but they're nearly 300 miles away and I can't be, because they're self-isolating, as are we. But there's still things we can do. We can make puppets, we can sing, we can dance, we can play, we can be creative. Let's turn this into an opportunity. Thank you.